Hello, everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland Watchlist here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where my guest and I play a little bit of movie roulette and randomly select a movie from my obscene, enormous movie watch list. And joining me for this episode, friend of the show, fellow crew member, it is Luke.
Hello, it's me. I'm back. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Absolutely. And we're going to go back to 1920 with The Scarecrow. And this film, released December 22nd, 1920, is like 19 to 21 minutes, depending on which video I found and how long
Yeah.
this is edited. Starred, directed, and edited by Buster Keaton. Two inventive farmhands compete for the hand of the same girl. And that is all. That is all the background that I have about this movie. So, Luke, what were your general thoughts on The Scarecrow?
I didn't expect to say this, but I absolutely love this movie. Or even short. Well, sure. It's still a movie, but it's a short movie. I absolutely loved it because to me, this encapsulates everything I think of when I think of Buster Keaton. Inventive, funny, a gag, one gag a minute at least. But there's always like something, some sort of point. There's always something that's oh yeah, he just wants to get a girl. He just wants to propose and get married very fast, on a motorcycle apparently. And I'm like, this is so like every time I was getting slightly bored, something happened. I was like, oh, that's funny. Or like the entire house being on wires. So I was like, that's inventive as fuck. And this is 1920. This must have been most of it. This is practical. Like he
Yeah.
was such a brilliant dude. And for some reason, this one, like I've seen all the major Buster Keaton movies. For some reason, this one resonated with me absolutely most. So, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what was in the water yesterday when I watched it, but I absolutely adore this movie. What about you, Shane?
This is a great, like, 19 minutes of watching
Yes.
the movie. Because, like, it's, it has a couple parts. So, the
Hmm.
first part is that Buster Keaton and his buddy, his roommate, doing all these things inside their house, with all these contraptions that they have set up in this farmhouse. And, how they clean the table, how they
Yeah.
clean, that was hilarious. Like,
Yes.
just hang, all the plates are attached, it hangs off the wall, and you just spray it down.
The V train on a table.
Yeah, like all of that, the inventiveness of how they set up the farmhouse and all the physical gags in that first part of the film, excellent.
Hmm.
And then you have the two of them who each of them have very specific vibes. Buster Keaton's thin, thin as a rail, very stoic. And then you have his roommate who's like this big, bumbling kind of guy. And they both like the same girl.
Hmm.
So, you have those little romantic comedy kind of shenanigans. And then you have the titular scarecrow gag where he's hanging backwards on the scarecrow thing and just like whack, whacking people. And you have that kind of fun comedy. And then you have the climactic, we're on a motorcycle with a priest and we're zipping and zooming. And all the way up to the final shot where they just run right into the river. They're all wet. And it's
Hmm.
just like, you're married. And
Yes.
it's just this madcap 19 minutes of pure joy
Hmm.
that it's real easy to be like, oh, it's just a bunch of shenanigans. I'm like, the amount of time and prep and precision that they needed to make all of these things come together this way is really impressive. And the fact that Keaton wrote on this, directed on this, starred in it, edited it, just put this all together. Like, I don't think, I feel like Chaplin at this point probably gets more credit
Hmm.
than, like, it's important to remember that these two guys directed. Like Chaplin scored his films. Like they had
Yes.
so much control over
Hmm.
these films. Like these are their brain children coming to life. And this is like almost completely Buster Keaton's artistic vision coming to life over the course of these 20 minutes. And it's just such a joyful little romp for sure.
Yeah. And like, for example, what I really loved, like, the setup of the house where we see everything, not just the table. We see the bed that turns like, from like a bath almost to a bed. And
Yeah,
then that gets called back later on when he's being chased by the dog and he needs to jump through the window several times to set it up properly so he can escape the dog. That was
yeah.
such a brilliant gag. It was like, oh yeah, let me just scoot it up a bit, jump out, scoot it up again, jump out. Then I actually jump into it and then I can actually escape the dog. And I'm like, this is so clever. This is so inventive, but it's funny. It's like in a funny and endearing way, where it's like, oh yeah, there's a, they're on a motorcycle now, and they just happen bump into a priest and pick up a priest. But you know what? Okay, we have a priest now, so let's get married. And he, instead of a ring, he uses like a bolt, like a nut, like a bolt nut, to like be. And he even does the motion as he's like, as if he's like tightening up on a ring. And I'm like, this is why Buster Keaton. I think Chaplin is more adored. To me, the biggest
Mhm.
difference between Chaplin and Buster Keaton, I think Chaplin is more emotion. Hey, this is
Yes.
what the story is. And Buster is more like the playful guy. It's like there's still emotion there, but it's like, hey, what if we did this? That's very playful. What if we did this contraption that's very playful? What if we had the entire house fall on me? And because of that, like one of the most famous scenes in the history of
Yeah.
movies, from a different movie, not from this one, obviously.
Steamboat Bill Jr. or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. And so, like, I feel like he was that kind of like, they were both pushing the boundaries of what was possible in early cinema and shaping the cinema as before without even realizing it, but in a different way. And I think that's why they are ultimately both needed. And it's the question is not who's better. The question is which one do you prefer, right? And I honestly cannot really pick, but this movie, The Scarecrow, and the Scarecrow gag, by the way, I think the reason it worked for me and it wouldn't have worked, it looks, he actually looks like a Scarecrow. So, like, in other, like, vaudeville scenes or, like, these, like, haha, let's laugh at this for 15 minutes, it doesn't sometimes they don't sell the gag, so sometimes like, well, obviously that's a man, but Buster, the way he hangs, the way
Yeah.
he is dressed, he genuinely looks like a Scarecrow. So that gag actually works because he does it so quickly that you can kind of believe, oh yeah, they think it's Scarecrow, so the guy, this one, kicked the other dude and then he kicked the other one and so he tries to like make them fight. I Again, it's the inventiveness, it's the intelligence behind the camera.
Mhm. Well, and it's such a commitment.
Hmm.
And everything is so precise and particular that it all works. It like you can tell like this on a first glance, a film like this feels like a bunch of random, wild shenanigans, but there's nothing random. Every single thing about this is like feels like it's perfectly,
Yes.
precisely crafted together.
Hmm.
And you know, to your point, the Chekhov's water shoot, which like that those were fun little things at the beginning where like you saw the water shoot
Hmm.
and then you saw like the food shoot and having those set up earlier and then Lucky the Luke the dog, real
Yes.
star of the film, uh nice old pit bull, chasing after Buster Keaton through that whole like section of the film with those shenanigans. I just had such a fun time with this. And, it's always interesting comparing short films to feature films.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you feel like you have to have a short film that really goes above and beyond to really stand out amongst feature length films. And I was like ranking my 1920 movies that I've seen. I'm like, this is really special. I haven't seen that many.
Hmm.
Seen a handful, but like I put this above a couple of feature length films because I'm like, this did things so perfectly. It was so efficient about setting up this little relationship, this little dynamic, and then having all of these gags that come together. And yes, it's fun with the little circular frame of the hand and just like
Yeah.
putting that quote unquote ring on it. And you're right, like Buster Keaton is like Chaplin is a lot of emotion and facial expressions and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Keaton has none. It's just
Yes.
stone faced. And it's all about the physicality, it's all about the gags, and it's all about all those elements to it and how precise and put together they are, and how committed to the bit that it is. Because like you don't get that same emotional connection to Buster Keaton because we can't
Mm-hmm.
see it. We can't
Yeah.
see the emotion through his face. So everything else that he does works so perfectly. We
Mm-hmm.
really get invested in that way.
I just realized, like, thinking about this, I feel like only from what I've seen, and I haven't seen all of them, obviously, but I am planning on watching all the Chaplin and Buster Keaton movies at some point. I think that also like just realized Charlie Chaplin's comedy mostly comes out like comedy of errors. Like something happened that's not supposed to happen, and then he rolls with the punches and something and he gets himself in these like situations where it's like, oh, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I need to fix it, but then he makes it worse and all that. Whereas Buster Keaton's comedy is very much on purpose. Like, oh
Yep.
yeah, we set this up, we set this up, we set this up, and then we operate within that what we set up. We operate within certain like it's almost like a German, like perfectly crafted, engineered to
Yeah.
precision. Okay, and like and again, like it fits with that stone deadpan face of Buster Keaton we all know and hopefully love, and. The fact this is only about 18, 19 minutes also help because like if this was an hour, this could easily overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
But like this is short, sweet, kind of like Sabrina Carpenter, to the point, and like it's like if you finish this movie and don't have a smile on your face, I feel like you're dead inside. Like this is such a fun times.
Absolutely. But Luke, do you have any other thoughts that you want to throw out there about the Scarecrow?
I would say if you haven't, or if you're cautious about short movies and black and white movies and these like old movies, and you don't know where to start from, despite this not being one of his highest rated movies, Buster Keaton's, like The General or Steamboat, Junior or whatever, I would actually recommend you starting with this one because, again, short and sweet, everything is planned out. There's so many visual gags that you might actually be in a mood. Once this finishes, I would hope many regular folks will be in a mood. Hey, this was fun. Let me watch more. I think so. I genuinely feel like this is great starting point for people who might not necessarily know where to start with these older movies and shorts.
Absolutely. This is a great entryway into
Yes.
this type of old school comedy because it's really effective. It's perfectly done.
Hmm.
It's a nice bite size little flick to go check out for sure.
Hmm.
But that is a wrap here on another episode of the Wasteland Watchlist. Those are our thoughts on the Scarecrow. But Luke, thank you so much as always for coming on and chat movies with me.
Always a blast, Shane. Thank you so much for having me.
And so thank all of you out there for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and share this episode. Who's your go-to comedian of that time? Is it Chaplin? Is it Buster Keaton? Is it Harold Lloyd? We know the answer for our buddy Adam. Um, who certainly kept pushing for us to check out a Harold Lloyd film for sure, which we got to on our Cinematic Wasteland show. But make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPDM Crew Podcasting Network is ever expanding. We have so many great shows with all different types of interests. I'm sure you'll find one, especially if you love movies. And if you want to join the crew, whether it being you have an idea for a podcast or you that you want to start, or you want to be a guest on one of our shows, like Luke's interview show, Flicks and Chill,
Please, please.
so please. But please reach out to us on our website. If you like our logo, check out HiFlyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Wasteland Watchlist here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.